Okay, ladies and gentlemen, very good morning to you all. On behalf of the team here at Jazz Real Estate, we'd like to thank you very much for joining us and welcome you to the auction here at number 4 Spinifex Street in the lovely suburb of Point Cook. I think all of our bidders and buyers are now assembling. We've woken up now. The auction is underway. We'd like to thank you very much. All the very best to all of our bidders and buyers in the crowd to you today. I'd like to wish you all the very best with your bidding endeavours. My instructions to you are quite simple. Notice to bid bold, bid aggressively, bid to your absolute maximum here to give yourself every opportunity to be that lucky and successful buyer. I'm sure we got one of our buyers here today, so to you a slightly early congratulations is in order for that wonderful purchase. What a wonderful purchase it will be for you and your family for the many, many years to come. Now, of course, I'd like to take the time to thank our vendor as well for not only entrusting myself to be the auctioneer, but also the entire selling team at Jazz Real Estate for selling what is arguably their most prized possession. Of course, your listing agents. You've got Jazz here on the phone with a buyer, I believe, dialing in from interstate here. And of course, you've got Herschel as well. So if you do have any questions about the property, need any support with your bidding endeavours, make sure to flag down any one of those two there. They'll happily come to your aid. But otherwise, I will quickly cover the rules and regulations of an auction. The auction will be conducted in accordance with the rules and any additional conditions made available for inspection before the start of the auction. The auction rules prohibit the auctioneer from accepting bids or offers for a property after the property has been knocked down to the successful bidder. The vendors have a reserve price. As your auctioneer will be indicating bidders on request. The law prohibits false bids, prohibits major disruptions by bidders, and prohibits bidders from attempting to prevent others from bidding, and it will issue fines for misconduct. The rules do permit vendor bids. The words I will use to indicate I'm placing a bid on behalf of our vendors is simply vendor bid, and by law only I as the auctioneer can place those vendor bids. Settlement terms for the purchase of this home is quite flexible. We're happy with 30 to 60 days. Of course, if you've had any prior arranged terms and conditions discussed and our vendors have agreed to those terms, then you're more than comfortable to be bidding on that basis. We're also going to be asking you for a standard 5 or 10% deposit made available to the trust account of Jazz Real Estate by bank check or bank transfer if you happen to be that lucky and successful buyer. But otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, if there's no questions or concerns about any of those things here, let's talk about the stunning home here today, number 4 Spinifex Street in the lovely suburb of Point Cook. 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and a double lock-up garage underpinning your prospective purchase of some of the finest real estate that Point Cook has on offer. 497 square metres of prime soil here, a very large block and a beautiful home designed, very well manicured and presented for you here today. The home itself is absolutely magnificent and very well suited for growing families, multi-generational families, particularly if you've got kids or enjoy entertaining friends and family here. You come on in, not only does it have a beautiful modern facade, but also inside multiple living zones, open kitchen dining area, expands out towards that outdoor area and to the pool as well. That's solar heated and has lots of gizmos and gadgets all throughout. The home itself is absolutely magnificent. Plenty of space all throughout the home. Generous sized bedrooms. Of course, you've got 2 en-suites with walk-in robes as well. Those makes for some very comfortable living. Quality fixtures, fittings and appliances all throughout. New cooktops, solar panels on the roof, security cameras wired in as well. Ducted heating and split systems all throughout the home to make you feel right on at home. Ladies and gentlemen, the location as well is something to be really talked about as well. Plenty of trees and greenery around here, just down the road, walking trails all around you here. Beautiful access to schools, public, private, primary and secondary. You've got Featherbrook College, you've got Point Cook Senior College as well. You've got all the shops down towards Featherbrook Shopping Centre. You've also got Point Cook Town Centre not far from here. Also, easy access to all the buses, Williams Landing Station, as well as all the major roadways and arterials that will take you anywhere that you need to go in metropolitan Melbourne. A really good opportunity here and a very good location and a very good time to get into the market. We're heading further and further into the spring market in Melbourne. And of course, one more thing that's just come out very recently, the RBA have been monitoring the unemployment rates. That's ticked up a little bit, which indicates that we may have more rate cuts on the horizon, and with more rate cuts comes more demand for property, ladies and gentlemen. So get in quick. Without further ado, going to hand it over to you now for your spirited bidding. Who would like to get the auction underway? And I don't mind where we start. Ladies and gentlemen, beautiful home and a magnificent opportunity up for your competition now. Just let me know if your buyer would like to start things off as well on the phone. Happy to accept any opening figure where you see logical value. We'll simply take it from there. Very nice day to be out and about as well. Of course, we can enjoy this beautiful weather all day. Very quiet auction from what it seems so far. Very good home up for your competition, ladies and gentlemen. You tell me where you see logical value and we'll simply take it from there. Don't mind where that is. 860, a very good start to the auction here at $860,000. Very fair, reasonable start, ladies and gentlemen. We'll keep it going in the tens from here to be nice and inviting. 870 is where you need to be to jump in on front at $860,000. Jazz's bidder has made a lunge for the keys now. At $860,000, do we see 870 anywhere? Plenty of inspections and inspectors coming through the home in the campaign now. We know there's plenty of interest in the crowd. Jazz's bidder is the only one who's bold enough to make their intentions known. And ladies and gentlemen, that's social proof and evidence that the property is wanted by somebody else here. $860,000, there's the figure now. At $860,000, no further interest. I simply move things along with vendor bids on my end. At $860,000, and by the way, I will be quite aggressive with those vendor bids, particularly if we're not getting much competition going here. I simply need to be protective of our vendors' reserve price, and I can tell you, very realistic reserve price. They do want to do business with you here, ladies and gentlemen. At $860,000, no further bidding. I simply move things along with vendor bids. Your opportunity now, ladies and gentlemen, calling it 3 times. First call, second call, third and final time. Are we all done? All finished? All silent? At 860 now, need to be 870. And by the way, I will place a vendor bid at 820 to keep the auction moving along nice and aggressively and at pace. At $860,000, your opportunity now to jump in below my next vendor bid. Going to give you one last opportunity, ladies and gentlemen. Anyone interested now? Need to know, Sir Herschel, any interest from your buyer over there? At $860,000, very fair value buying. How about over this way? At $860 now, I place a vendor bid and I move things along. Anything from you guys along the fence line here? At $860 now, calling it 3 times. Need to know. First call, second call, third and final time. All done. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to place a vendor bid at $880,000. Again, keeping it moving along in tens from here. Needs to be $890 if you'd like to jump on in at $880,000. Bits with myself now. Vendor bid has been placed at $880,000. Jazz, if your bidder would like to jump in at $890, I think we wrap the auction up and pass the property into them at $880,000. Otherwise, I continue to progress the auction along with vendor bids from here. I'll go straight to $900 unless your buyer would like to jump in at $880,000. Number 4. Wouldn't like to. Can we do a 10? How about let's do a 10. One more 10, I promise. We count it down quickly. We may just wrap up the auction and pass the property into you. At $880,000, crickets from the crowd in person here today. I wish we had a little bit more participation now. $890 and welcome back. At $890 now, true to my word, I believe from this point in time, we pass the property in. No more vendor bids, ladies and gentlemen. So if you do have any interest in purchasing here, you need to make your intentions known at $890 the bid. True to my word, no more bids from here. We simply pass the property in to Jazz's bidder on the phone at $890,000. Given that his bidder has done the right thing by bidding, I'm going to be rewarding that with no more vendor bids. We simply wrap up the auction from here, ladies and gentlemen. Counting it 3 times now. Need to know. First call at $890,000. Second call. And good luck to your bidder on the phone. Third and final time. Are we all done? Finished? Need to know. Guys, any interest out this way? You settled down nicely in the sun. Hoping that you're enjoying the show at the very least. At $890. Jazz, perhaps let's take a pause and speak to our owners. All right, well, let's take a quick pause to the auction. Perhaps we may have some good news for Jazz's bidder on the phone. We'll wait for you to change your minds about your intentions to bid, and we'll come back and resume the auction very shortly. We won't be long. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your patience. A very quick conversation because a very easy decision to make from our vendors here today, given that there's not too much competition, at least to our liking here. We're simply electing to pass the property in to the highest bidder if there's no further bidding from here. So that's Jazz's bidder on the phone. He's done a magnificent job keeping in front of the pack at this point in time at $890,000. Very clearly passing the property in. Now, just to be clear, once the property is passed in, only our highest bidder will have the exclusive rights to have that reserve price revealed to them, and they'll be the only person that can make an offer from here and have the potential to purchase the offer Once they have had their opportunity, and if they are not the purchasers, that's when you guys, folks, who are not the highest bidder, will have the opportunity to then negotiate. So if you do want to have that first right of negotiation, you do need to be the highest bidder at this point in time. Couldn't make it any more clear, ladies and gentlemen. If you'd like to bid, you need to bid. If you'd like to buy, you need to bid right now at $8.90 the bid. No further bidding from here. We wrap up the auction. Got to call it 3 times now, ladies and gentlemen, confirming no further interest from here. First call, second call, third and final time. Are we all done? Absolute silence. Very tough crowd to work with, isn't it, Herschel? I'd imagine it's even more difficult for you having to have that conversation a little bit more intimately. But otherwise, I think Jazz's bidder is deserving of a round of applause here, ladies and gentlemen. If there's no further bidding from here, let's give Jazz's bidder on the phone a big round of applause. We formally passed the property in at $890,000, and we look forward to updating you with a sole result very shortly. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and please enjoy the rest of your weekend.